Dude, this is fucking weak.
Okay, so in the past couple of weeks, in regards to everything about Judge Kavanaugh, I've gotten into two, let's say, very interesting discussions that weren't really discussions. One of them I'm not going to talk about now, because that one I'm going to save for its own separate video. This one, I'm targeting towards one specific person. That person I'm talking about is RAZ0R-FIST. Yes, the rageaholic, the man himself, the guy who can make so many weird things sound coherent in a sentence somehow, blocked me on fucking Twitter because of stuff about Judge Kavanaugh. And you're thinking, right now, you're probably thinking, what the hell? You two probably agree on this whole issue that Kavanaugh is being unjustly thrust in front of the Senate because of some unverified rape allegation. And you are correct. You are correct. We differ on some things in regard to Blasey Ford, but we do agree that Judge Kavanaugh was unjustly put in front of the court. Not in front of the court, in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee. And, you know, are just looking at this from an objective standard saying, hey, this is not good for the country. So in regards to that, we agree. But here's the thing. He sent out a tweet talking about how this entire sham with Kavanaugh was done in the same light as Clarence Thomas and other conservatives that have tried to aspire to something that get appointed by a president and then get thrown out. But then he brought up an interesting name. He brought up the guy by the name of Roy Moore. For those unfamiliar, that is by far the biggest moral failing of the Republican Party in 2017 was Roy Moore and his nomination. This, like, he was already a kind of a crazy guy. Like, he wasn't like the worst candidate I've ever seen for the Republican Party, but he was a little weird, and he had some pretty bad policy descriptions. But that's not. But you know, he won the nomination for. It's like, okay, whatever. He's kind of an idiot, but we'll let him go. But let him run, and, you know, if he fails, he fails. If he doesn't, okay. So, you know, about a couple months before Roy Moore was going to be up in the vote against the current senator of Alabama, I cannot remember his name for the death of me. Guess what happened? Some interesting things came forward about him, that he was molesting underage girls, or that he was trying to at least get a little bit too friendly with underage girls, if you know what I mean. He was an alleged pedophile. Let's go with that. But the thing about those allegations is, unlike the things they're throwing against Judge Kavanaugh or what they did with Clarence Thomas, Roy Moore had actual evidence against him. He would write some things in people's yearbooks. I know one of those things was very, very, very not objective, as in, like, it didn't really look like it was really Roy Moore's handwriting or anything like that. And that one, you know, there's a whole bunch of things like that. But he was also calling girls out of class at random times during the school year for certain people, if they were ladies, and started talking to them for no reason. That's kind of a big red flag. And also was kicked out of a mall in his 30s, at least I'm pretty sure it was in his 30s, for, you know, being a little bit too friendly with underage girls. And so I responded to RAZ0R-FIST, hey dude, Roy Moore had some evidence against him. He got thrown out of a mall. And then he started responding to me with a couple platitudes. I can't remember the tweet because he fucking blocked me, so now I can't go back and do it. I have to try to search the internet piece by piece, or I'd have to set up another Twitter account, and I'm too lazy to do that. But started responding to my platitudes like, no, there was no real evidence against him. It was all a sham, basically. And then I got into an argument with another guy about the whole thing. Talking about, one of those guys, I'll have to find this tweet real quick. Let me look for it in my screenshots, because I took a screenshot of it. This is one of the most idiotic tweets I've ever seen in my life. So this guy said that the only real evidence was the yearbook where Roy Moore spelled his name Ray Moore, D-A, despite being DDA at the time. And I responded, are you going to ignore that he got banned from the mall because he was peeving on teenage girls? Or that he would call out students out of class for no reason? And the multiple eyewitness accounts for both of these. And apparently, no, not apparently, this was the talk of Alabama. Like, people knew this about Roy Moore for years. This wasn't like an allegation that just came up after 20 years and 40 years of being swept under the rug. This was discussed wildly. There was eyewitness accounts to it. And so, this guy responded, I don't know about the validity of those, and I don't care if no crime can be proven. I lost it. I said, what? And just sent him a facepalm Captain Picard meme. All right? And so, when I was preparing to do my first recording of the Judge Kavanaugh stuff, like in my recap, I was going to look up RAZ0RFIST things, the RAZ0RFIST tweet, because I was going to use his stuff as an example of why people are taking the Roy Moore stuff a little bit wrong, and, you know, how it applies to the Judge Kavanaugh stuff. And so, when I was looking, I was like, what the hell? Where's RAZ0RFIST tweet? I know he responded to me. And then I clicked on his icon. I was blocked. Her fucking Ray. You have no idea how pissed off that makes me. As a guy who has been kind of a fan of RAZ0RFIST for about a year now, that kind of stings deep. And it was about sexual assault, and that's my big thing. This is about sexual assault. This is an issue that most people should be able to come together on, and we're not. All right, I'm going to keep this short and sweet and to the point here, but here's my message to RAZ0RFIST. You're a razor pussy. If you're just going to block somebody for saying that Roy Moore was credibly charged, or at least credibly accused, of freaking molesting teenagers, or not really molesting teenagers, but peeving on teenage girls, then I think you need to go back to the drawing board with your arguments. Because that's pretty ridiculous, man. That's utterly ridiculous. I don't want to make this a turn to a rant, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. It's just, I'm going to make this a three-parter. This is going to talk about these two situations. The second one will be up soon. And, this is just, I'm going to make this whole point about how is politics driven us so far apart that we can't even unify on the most unifying issues. And, that's something to think about.